Hello, I'm Govinda Gill with the BBC News. Iran has launched a barrage of missiles at Israel. The weapons lit up the skies above Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Civilians across Israel were told to take refuge in bomb shelters, but they've now been told by the authorities that they can leave. Our correspondent John Donnison is in Jerusalem.
When the sirens went off, we all got alerts on our phone. Those sirens and alerts went off across Israel. We quickly ran to the safe room here in our BBC office in Jerusalem, and as we were doing that, we heard the sound of loud explosions overhead, which sounded like missiles being intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome defence shield. Those sirens went on for about half an hour. We think now, according to the Israeli military, it could be as many as 200 missiles were launched from Iran. There are no reports of any damage at the moment, no report of any casualties, but certainly a really, really worrying moment.
Tehran has confirmed launching dozens of missiles at Israel and has warned of additional attacks if Israel retaliates. It said its response then would be crushing and ruinous. The United States had warned Iran that launching such a strike would carry severe consequences. Tom Bateman is in Washington.
Of course, it is doing everything to shield its Israeli ally, both diplomatically and militarily. But this comes now with a very grave warning, because the Americans' nightmare scenario is of it getting itself drawn into direct confrontation with the Iranians in the region. The Americans, once again, trying to get some kind of de-escalation, but now we're in a cycle of really the opposite of that.
8 people have been shot dead in a shooting attack in Tel Aviv. At least another 7 people were injured, several critically. Israeli media say the 2 assailants were shot dead by a passerby and a security guard. Israel has revealed its forces have carried out cross-border operations in southern Lebanon for months. The military said it had destroyed tunnels and weapon stores belonging to the Iranian-backed group Hezbollah. The details were made public as Israeli soldiers carried out what were described as limited localized raids at a short distance inside Lebanon. Ola Giran is in the Lebanese town of Tyre, close to the border.
In the skyline behind me, there has been a huge exchange of rocket fire and missile fire going, it seemed, from both sides of this border, from Lebanon into Israel and vice versa. There were some major interceptions. Rockets could be seen being knocked out, but it was quite a barrage. It's really hard to come up with the language, I think, now to describe the level of risk we are at, the level we have reached.
Ola Giran reporting. You're listening to the latest world news from the BBC. Claudia Sheinbaum has been sworn in as Mexico's first woman president. The former mayor of Mexico City is a close ally of the outgoing president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Miss Sheinbaum says she plans to continue Mr. Obrador's social programs, which polls show are hugely popular. But she faces tough challenges from large national debts and constant security problems from Mexico's drug war. Ukrainian officials say Russian troops are close to the centre of the strategically important town of Vuhledar in Donetsk region. It's been the focus of intense fighting for weeks as Moscow's troops try to press advances on the eastern front line. Jessica Parker reports from Kyiv.
Just over 100 residents are said to still be in Vuhledar, a coal mining town that had a population of around 14,000 before Russia's full-scale invasion. In Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region, part of Vuhledar's strategic importance is that it sits on slightly elevated ground. That lends an advantage to whichever army controls it, although some analysts also question its operational significance for Moscow's troops. Earlier, the head of the Ukrainian Regional Military Administration said Russian forces were almost in the centre of the city.
MPs in Kenya have for the first time ever started the process of impeaching the deputy president. The effort to oust Rigathi Gachagua is the result of a major fallout with President William Ruto. The vast majority of MPs signed the motion to start the process. Mr. Gachagua denies playing a role in violent protests, undermining the government and promoting ethnically divisive politics. Jimmy Carter has become the first former US president to live to 100. Celebrations in his hometown of Plains in the state of Georgia included lunch with his extended family and a flypast by Navy fighter planes. BBC News.